Good afternoon. In today's video, we are going to be working on my Loblolly Pine. I've had this tree for roughly about 2 years, and we are going to be changing the design of it by doing what is called a wedge cut. Now, about 2 months ago, I did a repot of this guy, and we're going to go through that process as well. But I'm going to show you the process of doing a wedge cut and the maintenance and the aftercare of that. So I hope you enjoy today's video, and let's get started.
So basically, we do need an overall plan of where he wants the tree to go and what kind of shape it needs to be in. And then we need to very carefully pick where we're going to put the cuts and how many we need in order to get the curve that he desires. So typically I use multiple cuts in a more lazy, kind of weak curve, or even in a severe curve, depending on those two circumstances. And then in a bigger tree, I may only require one large cut just to get the bend in it, because it'll be much more smooth and have a better arc to it. But again, it depends on the size of the tree, the width of the trunk, and what material that you're working with. So basic materials for a bigger cut: I have a wider saw. It's got a lot of fine jagged teeth. And then you can switch over depending on how narrow you want to make the wedge cut as it approaches the center of the tree. So I swap over to balsa saws, which are much more fine and different depth and width as well. So those are the basic tools. And then we need to plan to tie the tree into place. I prefer not to wire it in place. I prefer to attach a anchor wire and tighten up where I need it to be, and then cover the cuts with cut paste or something to seal it up, or wood glue to seal it up and keep the moisture in, so there's no dieback of the cambium. And I think a couple things to think about: do not be afraid to cut the tree or saw the tree. Generally, the cut needs to be at least 2/3 through the width of the trunk. Sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. Again, when you have a smaller trunk like this, it's more pliable. But when you get into bigger trees, probably the biggest wedge cut I've ever done was probably about a 3-inch diameter white pine, a coconoe, and it only required one cut. But again, it required, because it was so old, it required a 3/4 depth wedge cut to get it where I wanted it to be. And remember, always when you're doing a wedge cut this year, you only want to cut on one side of the tree, because you're going to interrupt the flow of sap. And you never want to cut on opposite sides, because you probably will kill the tree from that point up where you made the cut. After looking at the tree, we got a lot of options, and Joel would like to put a curve here at the base around this area, and then bring the tree over that way. And we may actually pot it at an angle at some point. But what we don't want to do is stay in a flat single plane. We do need movement, but also we need direction. So at some point, we may want to bring in a new apex up here just to continue the curvature. So I think we can get a nice curve here. It may take 2 cuts. We'll do one and then look at it and see if we need a second cut.
More like that.
Uh-huh. if you want to pause for a second. So we're going to need to come in about this far. We'll try to bend it before we get there, but
Okay.
it's not going to hurt the tree. And you can always come over here and change it to where you're sawing differently, or you feel better with it. All right, let's look at it. Is it bending yet? Yeah, it's bending. Okay. So now what we can do, since we already got some bend in it, we can make this wedge cut up a little high, the second part of the cut up a little higher and go down.
Okay.
So remember, how much angle you put there is going to determine how much it bends. So you can see already, when I hold it, you got that much bend.
Yeah.
So we just widen it, and then we're going to wire it down. We'll drill a hole here and put a wire through. And, okay. So how far did you go through? Not that far, I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe halfway. And remember, you want to go down at an angle. You saw an underhand makes me nervous. All right, on my end, there we go. So we got some wedge out. Let's look at it. It's probably a little bit too shallow still, but let me see how much it's bending. It's getting better, okay. All right, let's take a look here. This cambium is a little soft, so we're gonna probably bend it more and more with time. But anyway, you can
There's
get a little, some of that blocking the wood. So we won't have to do the whole bend today, but over the next day or two, we do want to complete it as it adapts to it. How's that? Okay. So it's getting there, all right? Oh yeah, that's better. Okay, now we got it coming that way, and it matches up. Okay. And then we probably want to make a little cut, a little more over, and add a little more angle into it. So how's this look? Getting better.
yeah.
We could probably come in here and put in a second cut.
All right. So would you do the same plane, or would you bring it more?
You could bring it over a little more. Yeah. So we're really not overlapping too much on the cambium. We're doing okay.
Okay.
You gonna hold it? It's not the best saw. Oops, sorry. You okay?
Yep.
All right, let's see how that's looking. I don't know how deep it is from there.
That's about right. About right here.
It's doing a little bit, but we could do more. Is that it? Yeah. Whoop, sorry about that. Didn't mean to. All right, let's see how that looks. There you go. All right, let's see what we're doing now. Still needs a little bit more out there. Let me try. There we go. Okay, let's see what happens here. Yeah. There's a lot more progress now. Got a carving tool. Small cuts make a big difference in how you can bend it. Look, you're laying on my thing, getting it all muddy, you crazy dog. Is that a rock you're eating? A muddy rock? It's okay. It's okay. What are you eating? That's fertilizer. No, that's a rock. That's you can't have that. That's fertilizer. Where'd you get that from? That's off one of my trees. I hope they don't get the idea that they can take fertilizer off. How's that? That's much better. You want me to hold it? All right, I'll hold it and you take a look.
Yeah.
You got a lot more curve in there, damn. Hey, girls. Hello, hello. You want some water? You can get some in a minute. Oh my goodness. I see a little thing in there. Let me see if I can get that out. Oh yeah, I think that's a lot better. All right, you wanna try it? Oh yeah. That's pretty impressive. You wanna step back and look at it while I got it?
Yeah, it's all right. Let's see.
What do you think? I think that's probably enough for this trip. Unless you want to do a little more.
It's not wanting to seal. There we go.
Yeah. Okay. Step back and take a look. So nice curve. That looks pretty good.
Okay.
What do you think? That nice.
Yeah.
Does that look more like what you want?
Yeah.
All right. Is that good enough?
That worked.
All right. Now we just need to anchor it down. We can maybe even.
That's the angle.
Dang it. Come on. There we go. Don't mess up your needles. Okay, so it looks like it's going to be here. Hang on a sec. All right, I'm going to tighten it up. How's that looking so far?
Yeah.
Pretty good. All right, now let's take a look at it. All right, we can tighten this up. And then what I'm looking for is to make sure that these are as tight as they can be. Got it. They're approximated pretty much. Looking good?
Yep.
All right, let's take a look at it. Let's see what we got. Pretty dramatic change. Looks good. You know, what you don't want to do when you cover this is get it down in between where it'll keep the cambium separate. So we want to make sure it's on top. What is it? You like that? My goodness. Are you hungry? Look on the other side and see if I got the cut covered. I don't know if I do or not. But. And try not to push it in, just you want it over. What? Come here.
A little more.
Okay. Where's your sister? Oh my goodness. Is there somebody here? Go see. Woof. There she goes. All right, you want to do the other one? Let me get out of your way. Okay. Now we got a nice, much better curve in there. And it's not competing with the middle curve. And as you say, you may need, we'll at some point bring this up.
Okay, so it's about 2 days after we made the cuts, and I wanted to kind of go over the aftercare. What you want to do when you make these wedge cuts is you don't want to fertilize the tree for at least 6 to 8 weeks to allow the tree to, because you don't want to force growth during this recovery period, and you want to keep it in the shade. So right now I have it in kind of the shaded area of my yard so that it can not get too stressed out. But so far, 2 days later, it's still doing okay. And I hope that this video was educational. It helped with any kind of questions or concerns around doing wedge cuts. I know this is the first one that I've ever done. It gives me more confidence to be able to do it maybe to other trees that I have that I've thought about doing it to. So I hope today's video was very helpful. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave those below in the comment section. And I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.